It do
How's
be.
for one, I want to welcome anybody that's tapping in live with us right now. I want to shout out to all the students that have been a part of ITU and currently even still part of ITU, making progression, have made progression. We've had some major wins in the last couple of years, with people passing funded challenges with the methodologies we teach, utilizing the information we've put into you guys' hands to really, really win at this thing called trading that is not easy. It is not an easy road at all. You're going to go through all the mental ups and downs, all the understandings of what's happening in economics. So from day to day, I mean, we're left and right, especially with Trump in the building. Am I right? It's never a dull moment, bro. It's never a dull moment.
Never know, never know.
For starters, one, I want to welcome our guests, our coaches here tapped in, here to help. Daniel, welcome to the club, bro. Welcome to the live.
Thank
Appreciate having you
you.
here, man.
Glad to be here.
That's not to say that the other 10% is probably either a technical miss or a fundamental miss. If you're looking at the technicals and you see a certain pattern, but yet you're not familiar with, well, at this time, this news is going to come out, so there's going to be a huge driver. They're called what there are moves that are called liquidity grabs, where it's made to take out traders, inexperienced traders, emotional traders, or traders that just have a bad entry or they've got their stop loss at break even. This way they don't profit at all, right? There are random wicks that will be thrown at that. And usually it's a high news driven topic that causes that. So, although emotion is the main driver, it doesn't say that the technicals and the fundamentals aren't drivers either, because you could have your emotions under control and still miss out on the fundamental news, which changes the technicals, right? It might throw a wick that you didn't expect, which hits your stop loss. Call it a day. It is what it is, right? You just have to be able to control what happens through that process and ensure, like, people may not believe me, but you could sit there and you could take 10 trades out of the week. And as long as you manage your risk correctly, you can lose 7 of those trades and still be profitable, right? So you can have a losing record and you can still come out ahead, So
Very true.
that's that's why I say, like, a lot of things when it's emotionally driven, you know, that's the number one thing, is get those things under control. Again, that's why Daniel's here. Me, I'm here for the fundamental portion, which, okay, let's make sure you know what CPI is, PCE, PPI, NFP, right? Any of these acronyms. So the interest rates, right? The interest rates are a huge driver right now. So when we see a lot of those things happen, I will tell you that there's one of us three that will be able to sit here and say, you didn't do that. So, and that's where usually that loss may come from. So that's why we have the three individuals that we have on here now, because we all touch each one of those areas. So we want to make sure that you cover all those, make sure that you have your emotions under control, know what's going on. And yeah, I would definitely say emotions are the number one driver, but everything else can add into it. And then once you get into a downward spiral, then it becomes the phrase trading is a scam. No, it's not, because banks are doing it, right? Banks are doing it. People are doing it. And they're making money all day. You just don't need to get caught in that spiral. And that's what we're preventing.
Yep. Yep.
100%.
Daniel, follow up.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously want to, I agree with everything that Mike said. I think what happens is people make really big decisions with very little information. And then they will, like Mike said, they'll chalk it up to the platform or they'll chalk it up to the industry that they're in. And it's just not for me. And we do that every day in other areas of our life. We'll make these claims about ourselves, or there will be claims made about us, and we will take them to trial, and we'll come to a verdict without there being any evidence to support the claim that was made or that we make. And so, I think, yeah, one of those things is making really big decisions with very little information. I think it's also being very certain about things that we can't really be certain about, trying to control the uncontrollables. And honestly, one of the biggest things is not having a plan. not having a consistent game plan because you want to be able to reverse engineer the mistakes that you made, not emotionally. It's not why did this happen? It's what did I do up until this point and did I miss a step? That's a non-emotional question. Not why did this happen, but what did I miss? That is just a pinpoint. You either did it or you didn't, and that requires no emotional capacity to ask or answer that question. And so, for example, let's say you have a 7-step checklist. You go through those 7 steps, and it is possible to make a good trade or to have a good markup that ends up being a bad trade. It's also possible to have a bad markup that ends up being a good trade.
Mhm.
At which point were you the better trader? Well, it's hard to say because if we're only gauging the results as if we're a good trader or not, it's going to be really difficult to create a sustainable and consistent pattern for us to refer back to. And so one of the biggest things is I would say you need to have a system before you sit down to trade. You need to ask yourself what emotional state you're in, like what Zay was talking about earlier is like, am I coming in here where if I don't make these trades, I don't pay rent? Because then you're not looking at the chart, you're looking at homelessness. And that is a very different thing. Am I
Yeah,
if I don't make these trades, I don't get to take my girl out to dinner or I don't get to whatever. And so we'll start to project onto the charts in the same way that we project onto people. And one of the last things that I'll say is one of the biggest reasons people quit, not just in trading, but in life, is because they make suggestions that should be boundaries. And so they say things and they do things like, oh, this is probably a good idea, or I should probably do this. That's a suggestion. You need to have boundaries specifically with number one, how you're treated, how you treat other people. I will only enter this trade if, not okay, if it's kind of around here, then it might be a good idea to get in. There's no clarity there. You need to provide clarity for yourself. So, setting boundaries rather than making suggestions, making really big decisions with very little information, being certain about things that you're uncertain about, and not having a proper plan are 4 really big reasons that a lot of people end up quitting too early.
for sure, for sure. God, man, I can't. I love when the three of us are together, one, because the conversation is amazing. But I completely agree, man. It's not having that system, not having that structure, not having that consistency. You're entering too early, too late, or for all the wrong reasons. So again, guys, you're in good hands. And this is just a small segment of something that every trader out there is dealing with, and we have the answers to help you kind of get over those hurdles. But you got to help us understand where you are and where you're starting. So as we go along, man, in the rest of this month, one, know this: you can change where you're at right now, and you don't have to do like Jim Rohn says, the next 6 years like the last, right? You can completely make that adjustment and move away from some of these concepts that have you in a losing position. And then even more so, guys, what we're gonna do as we go into 2026 for January, we're gonna have a free 5-day live event. And I think it's gonna be a massive impact on the trading community to make immediate changes for everyone so they can start the year off right. And the best part about it's going to be completely free. Journal admission, you'll be able to come and sit with each of us through each day as we murder a lot of these concepts and a lot of these problems that you guys are going through, man. We're going to knock them out the way. We're going to clear a path for you guys to start leading into success. And we can get rid of those excuses that cause every trader that has a losing streak going on, because you're going to go through them. Don't get it twisted. Mike will tell you all the time, them losing streaks are going to happen. But if we can get in front of the base problems that you've been having the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, then it's going to start at ITU Rise this January on the 14th, 2026. We're going to try our best to make a difference in each and every life of trader out there, new trader just getting started. So you don't want to miss the rest of this month. If you already saw the flyer, guys, Thursdays and Saturdays, we're going to get in here all December long and give y'all as much good sauce that's going to help make a difference. All right. So one, appreciate Mike, appreciate Daniel for coming through and giving a lot of good game just on understanding this small concept. I mean, it's major, major piece that a lot of people don't take into consideration. So again, thank you guys for coming out tonight.
100%. Thank you.
Thank you.
For sure. We'll catch you guys this Saturday.
Peace.
Peace.
In 2026, traders cannot afford to sit on the sidelines. This is the year of the action takers. The year you make a decision that changes everything. At Independent Trading University, we build an experience that brings together what traders have been missing for years. Mindset that keeps you stable, economics that keep you informed, technical precision that gives you direction. One complete system, one community, one path to independence. From January 14th to 18, ITU Rise 2026 will take you through 5 powerful days of coaching, clarity, and next-level growth. This is your chance to level up with your coaches live, build your personal trading plan, and finally break the habits holding you back. General admission is free. VIP access is optional for those ready to go deeper. VIP $27 admission includes morning motivation with Daniel, pre-session Q&A 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, recording access for 7 days. Enjoy 7-day enrollment to ITU. Part of admission will be donated to the Grace Works program. Receive a discount on the ITU 30-day bootcamp. Digital copy of ITU Trading Guide $4,000 worth of value for $27. Whatever path you choose, one thing is certain. If you want 2026 to be different, this is where it starts. Register now at rise.myitu.org. ITU Rise 2026, the year of the action takers.
First off, welcome back. Saturday, good weekend. Hope
Yes,
your
sir.
day's been good so far.
Got my cold brew, baby. Come on.
Hey, there we go. Right way to start the day, man.
Yes, sir.
And today's going to be an interesting topic, guys. Again, we are preparing for the 2026 year, right? We're rising up. Maybe you had some pitfalls. Maybe you've had some things happen in your trading that you're looking to adjust. I mean, this is the really time to make a difference with a lot going on in the world currently and very few opportunities as more and more people experiencing higher job loss or struggling with these new demands as inflation rises, and still being able to just keep a steady pace, right? And be able to add some different income streams to assist and to help, right? But time is, very limited, or not knowing how to properly manage that time. There are some important things we've got to talk about and adhere to, right? So as we get into today's topic, we're going to be talking about how you can start to adjust and have an actual plan that's built around your personality, right? Every trader is ultimately different when it comes to putting together certain discipline and habits that we've got to adjust to, and then matching that right to the charts and what's happening in the market. So Daniel, of course, is back again to assist us with that. And if you don't know me, I'm Zay Holmes, technical analysis coach. I go over the charts often with you guys to help you keep a steady head on what's going on from history and what's going on into the markets now. And then Daniel is here to assist in mindset, right? It's such a heavy piece that we've got to talk about. So thanks, Daniel, again for being here and sharing your insight.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for having me again. So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Daniel. I am an identity coach. I have been doing this for coming up on 7 years now. I've worked with over 1,000 people, everything from professional athletes to business executives to people within the government to the 11-year-old who just wants to get better at their sport, to the 73-year-old who doesn't understand why they feel the way they feel. You name it. I have worked with false narratives, and the reason I choose identity is because your identity is who you think you are, who you think other people think that you are, and then you build a story around that, and then that story determines the decisions that you make. And for you guys, these decisions involve the way that you trade. I've worked with Zay for many years now. I also worked with another trading company before this, and I will tell you guys, no matter what industry you're in, the mindset portion and the mental part is the most important thing that you need to work on. If you look up any top athlete, any top achiever, and you ask them what is the key to your success, guarantee you 98% of them, I don't want to say 100% because we're never really certain about that number, but 98% of them will mention in some capacity their mindset and controlling their emotions and learning more about their emotional state and how that comes into what they're doing. So in terms of a plan, in terms of how we go about creating a system for ourselves, there's an age-old adage, and it's if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I know it sounds silly, But if you don't have a plan and you're not looking at structure or organization, and you go into something that needs both of those things, you cannot be surprised if you don't find success. So even if you have an automated system within trading, even if you have a funded program, even if you have a university, even if you're in ITU right now, you need to have your own plan. The reason being, if you don't have your own plan and you're using someone else's, you are trying to build a plan for you based off of someone else's mentality, someone else's parameters. Excuse me. And you don't know their emotional thresholds. There are some people that can stay and draw down longer than others. There are some people that can look at the charts move a lot more than others. And so you need to build your own specific plan in order based off of your goals, the amount of money that you want to make, your emotional tendencies, your emotional triggers, et cetera, et cetera. So an example of someone that I worked with recently, they kept sabotaging their setups because of hesitation and fear and in terms of giving back their profit. And so what would happen is, they would be in a trade, they'd have their markups, whatever the case may be, and the moment it would move in the opposite direction, they would pull out and then they'd miss out on what happened next. And so they didn't have a plan structured enough, or even if they did have a plan, their emotional state kicked them out of that. And so what we had to do, we reverse engineered to figure out where that fear is coming from. We reset an entire routine around his emotional state because his plan was really based off of someone else. And he was like, well, I saw this person do this and this person do this, so I'm just going to do that, even though it wasn't personal to him. And so once we made the plan personal to him and specific to his emotional thresholds, he was able to gain a lot more control over how he looked at the charts, how he even took trades or ignored trades or whatever the case may be. And it ended up working out a lot better for him. So I don't know if it's lagging on your end. It
A little
kind of
bit.
lagged a little bit. Not sure if it's showing, but anyway, yeah. So that's just an example of how that would work.
Welcome to Independent Trading University at ITU. We're more than just an education platform. We're a community built to help you succeed. Trading can feel like a solo journey, but with ITU, you're never alone. Our team is here to support, guide, and push you toward mastery. Technical analysis support, so you can read the charts with precision. Fundamental support, so you understand market moving news and economics. Psychology support, so you can develop the mindset of a successful trader. We provide the tools you need to thrive: weekly live education, 24/7 community support, and real-time trading setups from experienced coaches. Wherever you are, access the education and mentorship that will transform your trading. Join ITU today and trade with confidence.
For sure. And it comes in conjunction with your technical analysis approaches. So if you haven't had a certain alignment,
I lost your audio. I don't know if it's my fault or not. Okay, DeAndre lost it also. I still can't hear you.
Let me see.
There we go.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, a lot of people who work 9 to 5s or work night shifts, it finds hard to hit those major sessions where movement is happening, right? So when we're talking about aligning a plan, we're saying, okay, I need to, put in, and this is what they talk about, having that, if you have like a side hustle or you have something extra you got to do, even if you had classes in college, you would have to put that extra time in the evenings or at night. So if I cannot work what my now side career is in trading during the day shift, then I have to just be up at night, right? That's the sacrifice that we have to make. And are we willing to take those steps and make those sacrifices, right? So now we align our plan to our schedule and we say, we're going to spend that London session maybe 2 hours that day, twice a week, because that's what my schedule can fit. Then make that your focus. And then you'll find, a certain flow in your trading, right? You've got to do this now for 30 days to make the plan really committed thing that you really understand and you can back test on, or you can look back on and understand, where things went well, where things went bad, what I didn't look for, needed to look for, and then you can start to carve a plan around yourself. That's what makes it really hard. Like Daniel said, to do the automation and do the funded challenges if you're following someone else's plan. So you don't even understand the structure of what parameters they have for getting out of the trade. They'll tell you, hey, here's a trade opportunity, get in, because of this. And then when it starts to reverse or do something else, they're not like, oh, I went break even, or, I closed out early because I didn't like something that happened right there in the moment. How can you keep up with that? You know what I mean? That's like real time data you can't atone for. So you have to kind of learn that about yourself and how you operate. So it becomes very, very important again to tap back in and understand these mindset triggers, these emotional triggers that are making you do things, understanding what's happening in these moments where you may have nervousness or anxiety around. We just did, for the first time this past week, we did a weekly review where students can now come in and fill out a form, fill out a document that addresses these things, that they can come and take down and understand in real time. This is how I felt. This is what happened. This is what caused me to try to get in this trade again, and then tap back in and say, hey, look, I need to reach out to Daniel so I can adjust these issues. Because the faster you can get past those hurdles, we can start to get to the other things, right, that might exist.
Yeah.
Or might not.
100%. Yeah. And I think I want to touch on something I was talking about earlier as well. And I've talked about this before, but this is the same way it works in your life. You can't, if you're just functioning from suggestions instead of boundaries, you can't expect the same things. And so if your trading plan is just a series of suggestions that you're making for yourself, then you're not actually setting yourself to figure out your patterns and have these boundaries for yourself. And the same thing with a relationship and your friendships and your business. A lot of us are functioning from things that we're calling boundaries, but really treating as suggestions. So when you're trading, you could, if your plan sounds something like this, or if a step on your plan sounds like this, if this starts to happen, I should probably look into entering this trade. That's a suggestion that doesn't require any accountability. It doesn't require any structure. But if your plan is I only enter once this happens, it doesn't matter if it looks like it's going to happen over here, because if your suggestion is if it looks like this might happen, number one, that's emotional because you're gonna want it to happen because you want to enter the trade if there's no structure, then you're not going to set up these boundaries for yourself. So just pretend like you're bowling and you're putting up these bumpers where when you bowl, no matter what, it's going to hit one side or the other, but it's not going to go into the gutter, right? And so that's why you set the proper stop loss, the proper lot sizes. You stay consistent with the patterns that you're looking for. You trade with the pairs that you're comfortable with, and you just build those patterns from there. So I think a big thing people can look at right now is what are you using as a suggestion that needs to become a boundary? And in your life, in your relationship, if you get stepped over all the time, or if, someone is mistreating you at work or within a romantic relationship, or maybe you're mistreating someone else, or whatever the case may be, you need to look at suggestions that you're living by that you need to turn into boundaries and what that would look like in your life.
Completely agree. Completely agree, man. And that's transformational, right? That's gonna really, if you embrace that the right way and understand how he's breaking that down, man, it's something you can utilize in this upcoming week. Like not even waste time. Like we're looking to take action. That's why we're doing this whole event coming in January for ITU Rise. Like you're not gonna want to miss out on the depth in which we can go into a lot of this knowledge and a lot of this information, because it goes really, really back through your entire life of programming to now who you are now, and then you're trying to take this step into who you're trying to be. So we've got to work through those hurdles and take them seriously, because if not, I mean, you're going to be bumping your head with the charts all day, and that's going to give a hindrance to me as a coach to even helping you. So look, if you have
100%.
any questions, feel free to reach out. I do want to take the last 60 seconds since we do have a student on the call. Jackson, if you have a question at all that we can answer real quick, please tap in and let us know.
If anything more, so I mean, he also said the suggestion part that answered part of the question, but where we were talking the other night about being limited on the finances, and sometimes you feel like you're good and that you're not letting it hinder you, but it continues to come back. That financial pressure, being there for your family, trying to readjust, trying to find different ways to sit here and be stable, but also have this knowing this is what you want to do, but you also need things on the outside. But for me, the biggest thing would be the financial pressure. No matter how good we get, or how stable we get, it always seems to be there.
So what would be, if you could form that into a question, what would the question be?
What would you suggest to someone to get out of that habit of constantly revisiting the financial trauma? Like we've been there with the power off, we've been there in the struggle, just that fear of hitting rock bottom. What would you suggest to someone to get out of that?
Yeah.
I have something truly special to share with you today. Have you ever dreamt of financial success and didn't know where to start? Look no further than Independent Trading University. At ITU, we offer a diverse range of courses, from Forex basics to advanced technicals, along with comprehensive fundamentals education, mindset coaching, health and wellness guidance, plus stock and crypto trading strategies. That's right. Everything you need for a well-rounded trading journey, all in one place. Our mission is clear, helping you make extra income by learning the art of trading. Join us today at solo.to/independent-trading-guru and take advantage of an exclusive pre-sale. $50 for undergrad students looking to trade part-time, and just $75 for career traders ready to dive in full-time. With ITU, you'll master the art of making consistent income from the markets. This is your chance to start building a brighter financial future. Are you ready to transform your trading game and take control of your financial future? Look no further than Independent Trading University, your one-stop destination for comprehensive Forex education and so much more. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced trader, we've got you covered. We believe in a holistic approach to trading success. Gain a deep understanding of market fundamentals, master your mindset, and prioritize your well-being. We're here to support your growth every step of the way. And let's not forget about stocks and crypto. Discover exciting opportunities and learn strategies to make extra income. The best part? We're running a limited time pre-sale for new students. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to gain the skills, knowledge, and support you need to succeed. Ready to make connections with your financial future? Visit our website at solo.to/independent-trading-guru to secure your spot in our pre-sale today. Independent Trading University, where trading dreams become reality. It's time to start your journey to financial freedom. Don't wait. Visit solo.to/independent-trading-guru now.
So just so I understand what you're saying, the question is, how do I essentially stop using the fear of the past financial pressure from getting in the way of like what I'm currently trying to do? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So this might seem like a simple answer, but typically what's really interesting is when we try to avoid things, the only way we can avoid them is by focusing on them to gauge how far away we are from them, and that just enhances the fear. And so what we'll try to do is we're like, oh, I don't want to think about it. A lot of people's advice is, oh, just don't think about that or think about something else or whatever. But then what happens is you end up actually amplifying the original fear that you had. So there's a couple questions I want you to ask yourself, because nothing has meaning until we give it meaning. That doesn't take away from the circumstances you've had. That doesn't take away from things that have happened in the past. But what happens is the fear is because if this happens again, that will mean this about me. So the question to ask is, if this were to happen again, what would it mean about me? But also, what did it mean about you then? So what did you learn about yourself then? Not good or bad, not true or false, but what's the belief? Because we have to figure out what the story is now. So for example, that would look like, well, I believed that I was unworthy as a man, or I believed that I was incapable of taking care of a family. And then that meant that I didn't have a place in this world. And if I don't have a place in this world, then there's no point in being alive. And if there's no, so you work through those, because what'll happen is the fear of the financial pressure is just the place in which the deeper fear is being expressed. So the real fear is probably something along the lines of worthiness, failure as a man, or whatever. It's not the actual financial pressure. That's the thing that is being expressed that's reminding you of the belief that you had about yourself. And so the way that you sort of become free from these things, right? So it's not that the financial pressure will never be there anymore. It's when it's there, it doesn't mean the same thing about you that it used to. So it's like, okay, even when you have a lot of money, there's going to be financial pressure. So that means that how do we get to a place where my identity and my story can stay the same? Because whether you have a little money or a lot of money, there's still going to be financial pressure. It might be different, but there's still going to be that pressure. So it's what's the belief about myself? What's true regardless of this money and regardless of this pressure? And what can I focus on that leads me towards a goal rather than away from a trauma? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Does it make sense and is it helpful or does it just make sense and it's not very helpful? I want to make sure that I'm
No, no, it was helpful.
okay.
Yeah, the question you said to ask, it makes sense as you were going through what it really is. It had me racking my brain. It's
Yeah.
definitely correct.
Yeah. And again, that's what we tend to do is we're very insightful and we're very intuitive and just sometimes we just don't ask the right questions. And so, a lot of the sessions that I do involves asking the same question like 12 times and it seems repetitive, but funny enough, the answer changes 12 times. And so we just keep reverse engineering like, what would that mean about you? And what would that mean if that happened? And where did you learn that that's what that meant? Because you're only born with two fears, as I've said before. You're born with the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Everything else you learn shame, you learn guilt, you learn financial pressure, you learn that you're unworthy, you learn that you're unattractive, you learn that you're unwanted. Like you learn all of these triggers that we have. So you go back to the point where you learned it, give yourself the truth about yourself, regardless of all these things. And then as you go into trade, you're now looking at a chart instead of a means of worthiness. When you look at money, you're looking at a tool instead of the thing that makes you a man. And it just changes the definition of what you look at. And when you change your definitions, you change the meaning of things. And when you change the meaning of things, you can change your story. And if you change your story, you change your decisions.
Great.
Thank you.
100%. Thanks for asking. That's a good one.
Hey man, and these get conversations, man, you never think about from completely off the trading perspective, that still plays a major role in your life. So, Jackson, phenomenal question. One thing I like to think about it too, because I've been to that place before, and you start to understand there's a certain level of character development. I like that always said through history is, if you build yourself up personally, right, build up who you are, then it becomes, better to handle these different pressures that come in life because they're never going to stop. Like there is no like opportunity I mean, you can create space for yourself to rest, but ultimately you eventually have to get back up and get back on that bike, man, and keep going. And think of different opportunities and talking to different people and staying involved in, good communities. This is why it's important to build what we're building and connect with the people we connect with is to make these adjustments and changes so we can be better people for our kids, our families, and work opportunities we didn't even imagine because we might have been scared to have certain conversations that we need to have. So thanks again. I hope this helps a lot with that transition. And dude, feel free to reach out to any of us. You can always hit us up in the Discord anytime, bro.
Yeah, I know that now. I know that more now than ever. Yeah, because I mean, just at that point to where I know I can provide. I know I can make ends meet, but if I continue on the path I'm on, I won't have the skill set to build anything stable. I'll constantly be just surviving, and I don't like it.
Right, right. Well, we can start working on making that adjustment. Stay tapped in, stay in communication, and let's discuss like what skills and opportunities might be out there that haven't been tried or ways of thinking about things. Right, that's important while we have each other here.
Right.
100%.
All right, all right. So if you are interested, man, and you're a trader out there and you're needing help and you're looking to take these true steps into your career and take things to a whole nother level, start 2026 the right way, rise back up from whatever problems and issues you may have had, and you can start to make these adjustments so you can be on the right path, getting consistent in your trading, being able to knock out either your funded challenges or just growing your own personal account based on your own plan, right? That's the biggest piece, man. If it's not your plan, your actions are going to be all over the place and you won't even know why you're doing what you're doing based on what is happening. So we're here to make a difference in that and make changes. Go to risemyitu.org, rise.myitu.org, my apologies, and you can sign up for general admission for January's event, and that'll be January 14th through the 18th. And then VIP members, we got a special package for you as well, so check that out through that link. So if that is all, Daniel, again, thank you for your time, brother. And we will catch you guys in the next one. Later.
Later.